Why the cape? And the glowing eyes?
I am the avatar of Khonshu, the Egyptian god of the moon.
I'm sorry I asked.
We don't get many warm-blooded guests. What brings you here?
So we found this in a Quinjet crash in New York. We know it's part of some SHIELD contingency plan to stop the plague, but can't really see what it does without a SHIELD motherboard.
Hey! We have a SHIELD motherboard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we're here. Will you please help us?
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this episode of the podcast, we are covering Marvel Zombies that is available on Disney Plus. For most of you, well, as you pretty much know, this show came out September 24th, which is far from here. We're recording right now on the 25th of October, but it's Halloween season. So we're a little bit late to the party, but it fills that quota of Halloween.
Yeah.
And I think that works best for us. So plus there's a lot of content we all were covering at the time when the show came out. And obviously, it was only 4 episodes. Yeah, it was maybe a little bit more than a half hour per episode. It was over 2 hours. But if you binge watch it, great. As I stated, this is a spoiler full. So if you haven't gotten around to watching it, and it is available on Disney Plus right now, stop the podcast now if you don't want to be spoiled, and then come back to us and listen.
Yeah.
But for now, I threw together a small overall synopsis because we were going to go into every episode synopses. So that way, you know, it's like, okay, we're not going at episode by episode. This is an overall thought. And the way I watched it originally and when I rewatched it again was like a whole movie. I literally watched them back to back.
Yeah, that's what I did. I did the same thing.
So, Steve, I threw the synopsis in there if you want to let everybody know.
Yeah, so this is Marvel Zombies is a 4-episode Disney Plus series where a group of survivors, including Ms. Marvel, Hawkeye, and Ironheart. Well, Hawkeye wasn't really.
Yeah, I know where I got that was weird. Yeah, I know.
must find a cure for a devastating zombie plague that has infected many Marvel heroes. They journey across a dystopian landscape, facing zombie versions of powerful figures like the Avengers, and discover that a cure requires sending a transmitter into space. The show features graphic violence and is best suited for older teens and adults. I think that's a good good synopsis overall. Yeah.
Except for the whole Hawkeye thing. That was the only thing.
But that's okay. I mean, he's kind of a survivor. He's Walking Dead, but he's kind of a, you know. Now, I have to admit, like the other night when we talked about doing this and that we were going to record it, I had watched it. And I didn't watch it when it initially came out, so I only just watched it this week. And I watched it twice. The first time, I don't know if I was just not paying real close attention the first time or what, but it really took a second watch for me to really get it and to really enjoy it. In fact, what I did today, I went ahead and I rewatched the What If Zombies.
I just watched it.
Did you? Yeah, I rewatched that one before I started my second watch of the series because I wanted to put things in context. Because, like I said, I don't know if I just wasn't paying close enough attention the first time around, or what. But so I was really glad to have that kind of background for me to in the What If from the What If one to rewatching it again because it really made the whole 4 episodes made a whole lot more sense. And I will say I'm glad we did it this way. And I think when they initially dropped them, did they drop all 4 at the same time?
Yeah, they did.
So really, I think probably from the beginning, everybody watched this. You know, unless you just didn't have enough time, you would have just watched this in a straight block. Which they didn't have any. There were no previously ons in any of them. So it was. They definitely set it up for you to watch these 4 like back to back to back to back. Whether however they meant it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the voice of the person who did Kamala Khan was good.
Yes, there's a lot of key players that did come back. I have it in my notes of who came back and who did not.
Okay.
but we'll get into that later. But but
so overall, I like I said, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
definitely the second time around, I enjoyed it more than I did the first time.
It's more of an adult animated show. So and that's the reason why they did it animated, because to do a full movie like this, it would take a lot of money. It would definitely make The Walking Dead and AMC look really, really bad if they had to with Marvel money. Also on top of that, this is completely different from the Marvel Zombies run that came out. It was a 5-issue limited series published from December 2005 to April 2006 by Marvel Comics. And it was very innovative at the time for the fact that Robert Kirkman was writing for them, and art by Sean Phillips, and the covers by author Sidam. And it was the first series in the Marvel Zombie series of related stories. So the story is set in the comic version is set in an alternate universe where the world's superhero population has been infected with a virus that turned them into zombies. The series was spun out of events of the crossover story arc of Ultimate Fantastic Four. So we don't have that within this Disney Plus thing. And where the zombie Reed Richards tricked his Ultimate counterpart into opening a portal to the zombie universe, only for the latter to contain the former from ever coming to his universe. And yeah, it's a very different version. The series is available to purchase on trade paperback, which I own, everybody. It's very adult in the sense of Peter Parker as a zombie and winds up like eating Aunt May and Mary Jane and having a conscience about it, and then being put into the real world 616. And you got Galactus in there. You have every Marvel superhero in it. So it's a complete different version of what you got from the Marvel Zombie. So if you guys want to go, just go to the Amazon site and purchase them. But the show itself, I did really enjoy. I liked it the way it took off. I like how they included like the key points in What If. Like with Captain America, when Bucky winds up throwing the shield and cutting Cap in half. And that's
it was so funny. The first time I watched it, when they show that zombie Cap, I go, didn't he get cut in half? And then, a few minutes later, he's used as a what did they call that? When Colossus would throw Wolverine, it's kind of the same thing. They throw Captain America up onto the roof. The fastball special. Yeah. I was like, wasn't he cut in half? And then of course the way he fights with Red Guardian is just classic half. It reminded me, I just rewatched Training Day a little while ago, and the Snoop Dogg scene where he's like, put me in the front seat with him, I'll beat him. It's just, that's what we see Captain America doing. So no, I loved it. I love the callbacks to Wanda. And just that her, she's the one zombie that's able to use her powers completely intellectually. Like she still has her intellect, but she's a zombie and she's able to use her powers and stuff. So so that's I'm the callbacks to the What If. So that's why I said I was so glad that I rewatched the What If episode earlier today. So I was able to put those things into context. The only thing I didn't get was the teddy bear head. On Friday. For Friday. I didn't really get that, but that was whole Riri Williams.
Which I was shocked at. For the listeners out there, this was like they recorded their voiceovers over 2 years ago when they did this.
Oh wow, it's been that long.
It's been that long. So recently at New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con, they actually asked I forgot her name. She played Wanda Maximoff.
Oh, Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen about it. And she goes, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because it was so long ago that they actually recorded their voiceovers, and they're like, what? And they're like, they can't remember because they've done so many projects in between.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and honestly, I understand that, but when it comes to animation, it takes longer because they could do all the dialogue to their heart's content without having to see anything animated,
Right.
and just do their dialogue, and then they just fill in the gaps, you know.
Yeah. Well, and then the animation has to match the voices to the
Correct.
to the lips, to the mouths, and all that. I can tell you that's it doesn't surprise me that it took them that long to put it out, but it is interesting though that, like you said, a lot of the actors probably don't even well, and just the fact that like Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Yes, and
you know, and so he was
how they were able to work that out, though.
Yeah, he was because he was in the What If. He actually did the voice in the What If episode.
Correct.
But then because he was still alive, but then in this one he's not, and so they had Peter Parker doing
story.
Telling the story in episode 3, which I thought was a clever way of doing, especially the part when he sacrifices himself and we hear Peter in the voiceover say, I heard him in a low voice say Wakanda forever, but the way he said it, and you could tell like the actor who did Peter Parker did a really good job of conveying the emotion of that, of not just that it was the last time, but that's the last time, like
correct,
literally that. So yeah, so it was really cool the way they did that, and the way they were able to incorporate, and the way they were able to finish that story out from What If, because that was the thing that, again, like I said, I just didn't pay a lot of attention the first time I watched it. Maybe, I don't know if I just slept through episode 3 or what, but I had totally forgotten that they closed out that What If episode cliffhanger in this series, which was great. That, again, a good callback to that, and closing out that what happened with Thanos and why, you know, some of the way the world is. Yeah. Or was, or yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and it was really, it was done well as far as the writing is concerned. The fact that we did have Chadwick Boseman for the What If series for that one episode, which was What If Zombies? And that's what it was entitled, everybody. You can still watch it on Disney Plus. It's still available.
Yeah.
You were talking about Tom Holland. He didn't come back as Peter Parker. He was replaced by Hudson Thames, Thames. And Chris Hemsworth normally plays Thor, but he was replaced by Greg Furman.
Okay.
Denai Guerrera, who was in the What If version as Okoye, in this one was replaced by Kenna Ramsey. Mahershala Ali as Blade was normally who's supposed to play Blade. Everybody, not somebody else that we want to come back. Going to be great. He was replaced in the animated version with Todd Williams. And Rachel Weisz was Melina in the Black Widow movie, and as Melina Vostokov, and replaced by Carrie Walgren, which I have to talk to Carrie because I've known her on and off for years. We bumped into each other. Wow. And I never really put 2 and 2 together, and I see her name come up and I see it on animation and everything. We're friends on Facebook, but we've hung out a few times, but I never realized. I was like, oh, I really should talk to Carrie.
yeah. It was great to see the actors that did come back, like David Harbour coming back. Elizabeth Olsen coming back, Sammy Wee for Shang-Chi coming back, Awkwafina, all the ones that they did get to come back were great. Wyatt Russell,
like 18 people total.
So there was so much clever stuff in here that the only thing that bugs me, I did put this in our notes because I wanted to make sure I brought it up. The only thing that kind of bugs me, the only thing they cleared up almost everything in the whole show in that last episode, or as we went through, except for whoever was flying the Quinjet that they found in episode 1, and who even got the transmitter, they never explained that. All they said was we have this transmitter, and we realized that it's putting out a signal that's going to the Nova Corps. And I'm like, wait a minute, but who was that flying the Quinjet? Who used them? Like,
Nick Fury?
We'll yada yada, and we'll hand wave that out of. But that was the only question that for me that I was kind of like that they never really answered, like the whole catalyzing event of this series, this mini series. They never gets explained. They explained everything else. They explain what happens to the Infinity Stones. They explain what happened to Thanos. Why this and that. They explained a whole bunch of stuff. But
that one little thing.
That one little thing, yeah. And then the other thing I didn't catch until my second time watching it was that Spider-Man throws Stormbringer.
Yes.
When he retrieves Stormbringer from the zombie Thor, he then throws it. And I was just like, it's really quick. But I was like, whoa, wait a minute. How did Spider-Man, why was Spider-Man able to wield Stormbringer? But I guess Stormbringer, did Stormbringer not have the same kind of magic as Mjolnir does as far as who
I
can
think
wield
it's about
it
the same. Honestly, Cap was able to wield it too, of being pure of who he is, and he did that in Endgame. So
yeah,
it wouldn't be. I would say it's a possibility that Peter would have the same thing, pure of heart, who he is, and he's shown that in his characteristic of how he was, especially when Hope talks to him about how could you be so hopeful and how positive, and then he brings up about him losing Uncle Ben, his parents, and you're waiting for him to say Aunt May, but he kind of mentions what Aunt May said, and she's gone as well. He lost everybody, but it's like you have to do this with a smile and be grateful for what you have, and it's really what made it work, where Hope gets that strength to bring them over. Yeah, there's like so many moments in the show that are very heartfelt. I teared up. I teared up a couple of times, and I realized, and I wish I kind of want to go back and watch it again just to remind. But like every episode, it seems like we lose somebody through sacrifice, but they also pick up somebody else. Yes. You know, like it's like a road trip type. Series to where they're picking up people and adding to their group as they went, but then losing members of the group as they go. So like Sean and Katie and their little travel, it looks like something out of Mad Max, and they're traveling towards whatever, they got cattle and stuff like that, and the Skrulls are more like out of Mad Max with their motorcycles trying to get them, and they're singing Of All Things Journey, which I was like, oh, this is cool. It's like, and then they show up and they find Baron Zemo, and you got Dollar Tree Captain America there, and everybody else as well as Alexei, Kamala, everybody is shown up, and then you realize, and of all things, they use the raft because they want to go on this mission to get to space and everything with the little thing.
That was a great addition of using the raft, of how they took this jail cell that was meant to keep the heroes in. Of course, classic, almost very similar to the Walking Dead. Everywhere these people go, they end up destroying it. But unfortunately the raft gets destroyed there at the other thing that I had a question about, and there's in the scene, it's when Blade, I think it's in the first episode when Blade shows up, and he has the spirit of Khonshu, and and he says that's the Valley of the Broken Gods, where two gods met and they couldn't defeat each other. And was he talking about the initial fight between Hulk and Wanda, or something else? Because that was a little a little bit of a confusing part of the story for me that I didn't get.
Same here.
That I was like, what does he mean? But also, I think we got just about every episode had somebody did a superhero landing. Yeah, just like the zombie Captain Marvel does a superhero landing. We see a number of others do superhero landing in almost every episode. We got to see somebody do the superhero landing, which I thought was cool too.
Yeah, I really did enjoy that. No, as far as I know, I don't know what that fight he was talking about represented. I thought that had to do something within a plane that he was thinking, but I still found it very odd that Blade of all things had the power of Khonshu, and he's the new Moon Knight. And it was just,
that was an interesting,
But the the fight that he did with the blade as well, with the sword and doing everything, it's like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Oh, when Zombie Ghost showed up with her sword and they're fighting and she's popping all around him, was just an amazing. Again, it's those things that how would they do that they could probably do it in live action, but it wouldn't be, it would be interesting. It would be, it would have been cool to see live action, but it was pretty cool to see it animated. And there was a lot of, you mentioned the graphic violence we see when Yelena, is it Yelena or no, it was her mom. The mom is killed.
Melina.
Melina. Okay. Yelena was Florence Pugh. Melina, when we see Melina get killed, she gets that spear through the door. And it's just like, whoa, like, so it's a very graphic kind of thing. We see Hope kills Sharon Carter, by exploding her from inside. And she's like, I've got Sharon all over me, and then later Kamala busts that one zombie's head open, with her powers. And we see Kamala really became a force to be reckoned with by the end of this. It's almost like throughout the episode, she was growing in her power also, in her use of power and her use of violence too. Yeah. So there was so many good things. I wish I'd written everything down, but it was really a good, now we got to talk about the ending though.
Yes.
Or do we want to wait to get there?
Let's wait to get there. There's a bunch of other things we could go over real quickly. I already went through a lot of my notes and stuff. We already talked about the fastball special with the Abomination's throwing of all people.
Thank you. I could not remember that creature's name. I was like, what is that? Who is that big? It's Abomination. Thank you.
Yes, that was the Abomination. I'm glad that they were able to bring in more characters from the MCU into this, as well as others that we haven't. There's one character in particular that I don't recall from comics or from anything else. That would be Death Dealer.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if that was a character from the comics, because they talk about him like he's been around the whole time, but I was like, I don't remember this guy at all. He's like a Deathstroke. He's almost like a Deathstroke knockoff. Kind of character in Marvel, I guess, but yeah, Death Dealer. I wonder if we're going to see him in live action anywhere.
I hope so.
Where he comes from.
It's got to be a Shang-Chi thing, I think.
It must have been,
because we're supposed to get another Shang-Chi movie.
Okay, so that may be where that. And did you notice also that was the other thing I thought was surprising was when Shang-Chi's father shows up and he has the rings. Still in this world. So in this is a world where the events of Shang-Chi never happened. Yeah. But then when he gets the rings from his father, he gives half of them to Awkwafina. Yes. And Awkwafina was using one set of rings and he's using the other set of rings, which I didn't think was even possible, but that was kind of cool. It gave us a reason. I mean, as much as I love to have her and Jimmy, and they had Jimmy Woo fighting, which was great, to see him doing something more than just being background character. But we had to have a reason for Awkwafina to be there and for her to be able to have survived, obviously. So they gave her the half the rings, which I get. I get it, but I like it. The awkward moment when they're on the raft and Yelena is kind of flirting with Shang-Chi a little bit, and she says, "So what's the situation with you two?" And she, "Oh no, we're just friends. We're not. There's nothing going on." And she goes, "Ooh, okay, so there's nothing going on," and you can see that kind of. Was it? Yeah. So that was classic. Just really great. Yeah, and then the reveal when they get to New Asgard, the reveal that Wanda Maximoff is controlling everybody's minds to make them think, which again, that's a callback to WandaVision, right? Because that's exactly what she was doing in WandaVision, was she had this whole town convinced, living different lives, and so she's got the same thing going on here. But yeah, I love the progression of it. I loved how each episode built upon the episode before, and I love that we got the beginning of the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
And we get to see the progression of it in the 5 years later in episode 2. But I also love that in there in episode 1, when we get the little zombie land type, here are the rules. Here are the rules of the and Peter Parker giving the little training video to Kamala and her group, going, here's what you need to do. Was just a great. It's just really cool stuff. It was just a fun series. There's a lot of humor in it, but there was also a lot of heart. The action was great. The violence was just a good level of graphic violence. That's bad to say, but yeah, no, it was overall. Like I said, I can't have no complaints about it, except that one little thing. Like I said, they never answered where that transmitter came from or why they even had it or who did it. And which, okay, I can yada that away. I don't need that answer. It's fine.
Yeah. It's literally us trying to nitpick everything to that point.
It's trying to find something to criticize. Is me wanting to find something to criticize, but
there's a whole bunch of other things, even with definitely with T'Challa, because in the What If, he went disappearing with the Avengers, and they never really stayed. We never got figured out how he was able to get away. And then he shows up finally within Peter's story about battling Thanos.
Yeah.
Which is so funny too, because in the original comic series run, T'Challa was being used as meat for his leg and his arm.
Oh, kind of like what Vision was using him for in this one as well.
They were eating him, and Hank was feeding him to his wife. What's her name? And
that's in the comic book, right? In this story, it's Vision feeding him to Wanda to keep Wanda appeased.
So they took a little bit of from the comic to go into the show, which I appreciated, and I was just like, oh, they kind of changed it a little bit, but it works out. And especially with the head with Paul Rudd's character.
Ant-Man, right?
Ant-Man.
He was able to cure his head, but just his head.
Yep. That ending scene though definitely was like a cliffhanger kind of moment where that, and we all know the Secret Wars is coming. And I would not put it past Marvel for the MCU that the last movie that we got was rated R, was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
So, and I wouldn't put it past Marvel for their last big hoorah for these phases. And that will be the final part of that particular phase and end the multiversal, storylines that are going on between Loki, Kang, Doom now involved, as well as Fantastic Four and everything else. So I wouldn't be surprised on Battleworld we do get zombies at one point, and it will have to be rated R. So
that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I was a little confused that ending. I mean,
it was Wanda manipulating Kamala at that point because she was on the ropes of, because people who see that are on the verge of becoming a zombie or something, or being manipulated so that the zombies could eat her. And then Riri comes out of nowhere during that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that's the confusing thing there, because we saw Riri get killed in the first episode or at the end. So at what point did Wanda start manipulating?
Did we really get to see her killed? She was in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, I'd have to go back
at the very beginning when you
You're right because Friday does leave saying, "I've already lost one owner. I don't want to lose another." Yeah, and that's the last thing we see of it. So, you're right. So she could have. So Friday could have come in to save the day and saved Riri, and now Riri is in the real world, whereas Kamala is in somehow being held by Wanda in this dream world or this dream
and
state.
amongst this battle during that time.
There's these things going on. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see if they do another series or if it carries on into the movies or not. I don't know.
I have a funny feeling this will probably be a one-off.
I don't see it going much further because there's not really much they can do.
All they could do is have that universe interact with possibly within the 616, 818, and all these other universes that they're going to do.
And they could, like you said, in Battle World, pull in some of these.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to see how they would be able to write that. You had mentioned The Walking Dead earlier, which made me laugh because in my notes, I have something that talks about the introduction for the first 2 episodes. If you see how it's done, if a lot of you who are Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, the introduction was right in your face, and then you had that. It was the original Fear the Walking Dead style of introducing the credits
I didn't catch
of what the show is. So I found it really, really cool. I like the fact that in the very beginning the girls were all together. You got Kate Bishop, you got Riri, and you got Kamala, and they were like a team holding things together. I really like that, and it kind of bookends because you see them at the end in her dream world where you see Kate and Riri, and they go get boba and all that stuff.
Right,
but and then I like that Riri calls her ship the Uhura, which is a cool Star Trek reference, and it because she's the only black female on the Enterprise, and you know that had to be some sort of influence to her.
I'm sure. So that was cool.
And then the R rating style, because this is mature for adults, so obviously you can't watch this with little kids if unless you let your kids watch this with you. But they had a plethora of like curse words in it.
There was a few. There was
shit was used, mother F, a-hole, damn, hell, and badass. So they've had a few. So it's not like regular traditional TV. So obviously, you have to have your your parental codes in there too, so not let your kids watch it. I thought it was pretty cool though. There were really great moments. The Ultimate Hulk, I thought. What did they call him? I forgot.
The Cypher. He was like when the Minotaur is explaining what happened. He says he's no longer Hulk. He's no longer Banner. He's the Cypher. He is the anchor that holds the
Infinity
energy. The energy of the Infinity Stones together. He was the only being, powerful enough. And we saw that because remember, besides Thanos, Hulk is the only one who was able to snap,
correct,
and survive. And even he was in bad shape after Infinity War. Endgame. I guess it's an Endgame when he brings everybody back. When he snaps to bring everybody back. Infinity Hulk, or however they called him. But yeah, it was interesting to see how Wanda needed Kamala's power though to combine with hers in order to take Hulk's power, and that's what she was able to use to rewrite the whole entire world and into her image of what she thought was saving everybody. Was I'm going to save everybody by making everybody zombies. Basically, we're going to save the world by making everybody zombies. Don't be, which I thought was an interesting. But like you said, we also saw Riri there at the end trying to call Kamala back to reality. So we'll have to see if they do another one. I'm with you. I'm pretty sure this is probably just going to be a one-off. If they were to come back, I think it would just be, drawing these characters into some other vehicle or some other device. We'll see. But there really wasn't anybody left at the end that we know of. That's alive besides Kamala and apparently Riri. So
I only have one quote, but I looked online really quickly to see if it's so funny because there's a few that they have online that are memorable, but not so great. But the one I picked was so funny because it's Alexei, and it was him talking to Melina, and he's dealing with Capped, the zombie Cap at the time, and then he winds up falling on his back on top of Cap and splat, and he goes, "Oh, they will sing songs of this battle. I've been waiting for this for so long." And Melina goes, "No one will sing songs about that." Always getting him.
yeah, that was good. Yeah, I like that she was able to control the zombies with her little down some sort of mind control device,
which was a harken back to the original Black Widow movie where he goes, "Oh, at least it's not pigs," because that's how she named one of the pigs Alexei at one point, if you guys remember. So it's a lot of callbacks to a lot of the MCU movies and like key things that have happened that we all know and are aware of. If you didn't ever watch the movies, it might have went over your head, but this gives you a reason to go watch those movies if you're not a fan.
Yeah, it made me want to go back and rewatch some of the shows for sure, some of the TV shows.
Yeah.
Then I want to go back and rewatch.
I found it odd that of all characters that was interesting that came back and became more of a badass was Hawkeye as a zombie.
Yeah. So and the arrow that was a little not a little firework arrow that wasn't a big
Kate Bishop was like Bishop is like, "Oh, I got a trick out. Yeah. It's like a party favor.
yeah that was like I said, the humor in this was pretty good. They had some good moments. So I really liked it. I'll watch it again probably at some point just to refresh my memory of it. But this is it was a good little four episode miniseries run that was
it was meant, and it should have came. And in all honesty, I should have been my first thought when I first saw it in September when it came out was like, why didn't this come out in October? They could have just launched it at the peak time of Halloween to get as many viewers. And I guess, and honestly, this is what before the change that Feige had done. That's why we're getting, when they threw out Echo, they threw out all the episodes. When they threw out Ironheart, they threw them all out there pretty much almost all at once. It was they had already invested in these things, and then they're trying to make these changes for quality over quantity. But these were already in the books already, so they felt, I think, that they had to get this out so that way it gives us time to salivate over what shows or movies that are going to come out that are going to be worth it in the end to watch. So you could binge it easily and then have fun with it like we have, but don't expect too many Marvel films within 1 year as we all want. They have done a lot of filming for Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie, and they had to halt it and suspend it because Tom Holland literally his head got crushed. But he had a concussion, so they had to halt filming for a little while, so that will be delayed a little bit. But as far as I know, Doomsday is finished and wrapped up. So there are a whole bunch of things that are going to be coming out our way in some way. We just have to wait for them. And I'm looking forward to what we get. As far as anything else Marvel related, we'll keep you apprised, let you know what we're going to be covering in the near future. But that was pretty much our coverage on the actual 4-part show, which was Marvel Zombies. I really enjoyed it. I suggest it to anybody, even to people who are like purist of comic books. I was like, go watch it, have fun with it. There are other characters other than the ones that we had in the comic, and I know some of them like, it's not the comic. I'm like, I don't care if it's not the comic, but this is a new run. You could always go back and read those comics. But For that was our coverage, I would say. And well, do you have any podcast recommendations?
I'm trying to think. This has been a week of just I'll just say not podcast recommendations really, but just what to watch out there. If you like serialized episodic TV, High Potential is back with Caitlin Olsen. It's a great show. I love it. The second season just started and it's gone off really, really well. So check that out. Kat Demmings and Tim Allen and Shifting Gears. Their next season, their second season just started. It's really good. So there's a lot of good TV. We're back into good TV land now.
Awesome.
It's the fall season. So yeah, let's get out there and check it out.
Yeah, awesome. The only thing I've been watching that I highly recommend, and I think you had mentioned it and with Becky and stuff. I started watching Orphan Black. I gave up after the first episode years ago, and I started binging the whole thing when I was on started my vacation, and I was like, "Oh, great! I finally got through the first 3 seasons." I could not believe the amount of work that Tatiana Maslany has done in it, and she's very, very gifted. Yeah. And I really like the characters, and it's not like, oh, you could see her in every character. No, each character is unique, and I like that. So if you guys are interested in something like that, go check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good show. Yeah.
That was more of like show suggestions, everybody, not podcast recommendations. Okay. But we also recommend if you go give our friends out there a listen to on Podcastica. You go to podcastica.com, check out all the podcasts that they have on there, as well as TV podcast industries, which do cover similar to what we do here. Yep. So give Derek and John and their friends a little bit of a listen as well. I did put this out a while ago to get feedback. We didn't get any, but you could always send feedback. All you have to do is go to PyrocoreEntertainment.com, find the links there, or you could just send us an email, panelstothepixels1@gmail.com. Panels spelt as it is, TO2, and pixels in the number 1@gmail.com. Write out your thoughts, and we'll read them the next time we're on, or you can record yourself and we'll play them on the podcast next time we record. We can be found on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Just follow us and check that out. Just leave them everything in the comments below, even on YouTube. And that's Pounds the Pixels podcast on YouTube, everybody. But where else can listeners hear us, Steve? Where they could hear you?
Well, I'm obviously right here on Panels to Pixels podcast, and I send voicemails to various other podcasts, and I occasionally guest host. We'll always give you a heads up when I'll be guesting on podcasts that our friends put out. So yeah, you can hear my voice. It's out there.
Yep. I can be here as always, like on Panels to Pixels podcast. You could hear me on Adrenaline Cinema podcast, as well as the Pyrocore Entertainment podcast as well. So just go to the pyrocoreentertainment.com website and check out those links. We also recommend that you check out the other podcasts on the network with Becky and Mandy when they do What's On Tonight and Mandy's Dinner with Her. So check those out and let us know what you think. We could be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player of choice. If there's a rating or review, which there always is for Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please give us a rating or review. Be greatly appreciated. So that's about it. I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Panels to Pixels podcast. Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. And we'll see you on the next panel. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night.